Hello friends. So I put up a video on, actually a few stories on Instagram, but I had to fight the Instagram dragon constantly cutting me off and fighting with the captions. So I'm going to put a video here on my YouTube just kind of talking about what I'm going to be succession sowing for this summer into the fall. I'm in zone B, 6B. So our first frost will be like the first or second week of October. Usually it's around October 15. It's not 100% accurate. It's just based off of previous years and statistics of when the first frost has happened in the past few years. So I broke down our succession sowing list into quarters. There's 4 different types that I'm going to be using, hopefully. A 10-day interval, 14-day interval, 21 and 30-day intervals. We grow the majority of our foods from our garden and eat on that for the rest of the year. We can it, we freeze it, we dehydrate it, we eat it fresh. So for the 10-day intervals, you can do kohlrabi, peas, and bush beans. I've got some peas that have to come out now. I'm going to put in some cucumbers. And the cucumbers that I'm going to be using are H19 Little Leaf Organic Cucumber. That's the first time that I'm going to be using that cucumber. Right now I have pick a bushel cucumbers. I only have 2 plants. We don't go through cucumbers that often. So it's more of a fresh eating or setting out on the farm stand that I have in the back. Kohlrabi you can do up to 6 weeks before your first frost. The peas, once I rip out the ones that I have now, you can do 8 weeks, up to 8 weeks before that first frost. Peas don't necessarily do very well in the hot summer weather. So if there is a variety that can withstand a little bit more of a warmer temperature, I'll be looking into that because we do go through a lot of peas during the year. And to grow peas towards the end of the harvest season and only have a few to can, you're thinking about, is this really worth the risk of not having enough and pretty much wasting your time. Then bush beans can be up to 8 weeks before that first frost. I have a bunch in the big garden bed that I sowed this week. I ripped out the potatoes that we have. We actually have almost 19 pounds of potatoes just from that garden bed. I have some more sown in the actual garden on a whole row. So I'm pretty excited to see how much we get from that. The 14-day intervals will do beets and turnips. I've never grown beets before, so I'm actually very interested on how that's going to go. And then the turnips you can do, I'm only going to do a small section. I'm not a very big turnip fan, but I will grow them for my husband. Maybe we can do like pickled turnips. I don't know. I have to look up some recipes. But those will be up to 8 weeks and up to 6 weeks. I want to see if I find some golden turnips or golden beets to grow. I've heard those are much sweeter than the regular red beets or purple beets, whatever. So now for the 21-day intervals, we'll do carrots and cucumbers. I already have a small row of carrots. I have them heavily sowed in there. I have not thinned them out. But my goal for this year is to have a Jang cedar. And then sow the carrots every 21 days up until mid-July. So if I can get a few rows of carrots done, once mid-July hits, then we'll start sowing those for storage. The cucumbers you can do up to 6 weeks before your first frost. I'm going to try to get them under a row cover if possible. If not, it's not a big deal. Cucumber beetles in this area where I'm at in Virginia wreak havoc on our plants. Right now they're feasting on some of the squash blossoms out there that I have. They kind of gave me a break on destroying my plants, so I'm not too worried about them as of right now. The only things as far as pests that I've had issues with are the cucumber beetles and the flea beetles this year. Last year we had vine borers, we had squash bugs, we had Japanese beetles, so we had a little bit of everything. And so hopefully, knock on wood, with the cooler weather that we've been having, I can kind of have a break on taking care of pests. So I have my cabbage and my broccoli underneath the row cover. I haven't had to do anything as far as pest management besides that. Maybe spray some insecticidal soap on some of the plants. But that was really for when we were out of town at the Homestead Festival. Now, for the last succession sowing that we will do for a 30-day interval will be summer squash, which can be sown up to 8 weeks before that first frost. As far as summer squashes that I just have zucchini, I have some straight neck squash, and that's pretty much it, because the other ones that I have are calabaza, which is a hot weather pumpkin. I'd say it's like a Caribbean pumpkin. And then I've got butternut squash, which that can store up to, I think, about 6 months after harvest. So that's more of a winter squash. I have a bunch of those sown out and in the garden just because we do go through butternut squashes like crazy. But as far as anything else, I think I might go through some more onions. At the end of the season, I'll probably start some onions to let them overwinter. My goal is to have a row of garlic also. I do cook with a lot of garlic. I love garlic. If something calls for a teaspoon of garlic, I'll put a tablespoon of garlic just because it's so fragrant and so delicious. So yeah. As far as anything else goes, I have tromboncino squashes. I've got beans, like I said already. Some of them are ready to pull out, and I'll have to resow a couple more rows of beans. But as far as the succession sowing goes, I almost said grows. That's what I'm looking at as of right now. So I've made my list, and we'll just have to get to work and get this ready. So thanks for sticking around. I'll see you next time.